It's now or never for England to prove their critics wrong and finally bring it home. But do they have what it takes? Join us today as we dive into an analysis of the England squad and explore whether this team can win Euro 2024. England entered UEFA Euro 2024 as one of the favourites, boasting star players like Harry Kane, who topped the Bundesliga scoring charts, Jude Bellingham, the standout for the UEFA Champions League winners, and Phil Foden, who enjoyed his best season yet, helping Manchester City to their fourth straight Premier League title. Fans were eager to see this star-studded lineup in action for their country this summer. However, the excitement has turned to disappointment after England's initial performances in the Euros. Gareth Southgate has struggled to get the best out of his key players. His tactical decisions, particularly in midfield, have raised eyebrows. On paper, the selections look questionable, and on the pitch, the performances have been disjointed and lacking cohesion. Yet they still have hope to bring it home. But let's break down why this setup isn't clicking and what can be done to turn things around. England lines up in a 4-2-3-1 formation with Declan Rice and Trent Alexander-Arnold in the double pivot, supported by Foden, Bellingham and Saka. In the build-up, Jude Bellingham and Phil Foden have the freedom to drop deep, connect with teammates, creating more passing options for fluid ball circulation. The roles of Kyle Walker and Kieran Trippier vary. Walker tends to stay deeper in the first phase of possession, which presents an issue. Bukayo Saka thrives with a fullback who overlaps or underlaps, like Ben White, and feeds him the ball down the line so he can take on defenders. Walker, despite his speed and occasional surging runs, doesn't consistently provide the support, limiting Saka's effectiveness. Most of Saka's standout moments in the first two games have come from midfield distribution by Trent, Rice, Bellingham, or even Kane when he drops deeper and delivers diagonal passes. Kieran Trippier pushes higher and wider in the build-up, but his issue is his right-footedness while playing as a left-back. In tight margins, this affects the angles he can play. Connecting with Phil Foden incisively becomes tough as Trippier's right foot delays passes down the line, into the half space, behind, or between the lines as Foden moves into central pockets. Although Trippier can make these passes, the time it takes to set up makes them predictable, leading to safer, less creative options. These issues are just the tip of the iceberg. Trent Alexander-Arnold needs runners for his diagonal passes, but neither Foden nor Trippier can provide that. His diagonal passes are most effective when he's wider and outside the block. This was something Jurgen Klopp figured out after initially moving Trent into midfield, driven by Pep Lenders. At Liverpool, you'd often see Trent tucking in as a third centre-back during the build-up, adopting a quarterback-like role to disrupt the man-to-man presses. Under Southgate, Trent is typically positioned centrally, making shorter passes. This restricts his creativity and might explain some of the erratic passes he made in the Denmark game. Moreover, keeping Bellingham in the centre initially seemed like a no-brainer. It's where he excelled at Madrid, especially with his surging runs into the box. It seemed a perfect complement to Harry Kane, who likes to drop deep into midfield, creating space for Bellingham to exploit. However, this decision has come at a cost. Phil Foden, who has thrived in central pockets all season, is now stuck on the left, struggling to build a strong connection with his fullback. Kane also found himself in the spotlight for criticism despite scoring his 64th international goal against Denmark. Subbed off with over 20 minutes left, some are even suggesting he should be dropped if his performance doesn't pick up. But this isn't new territory for Kane. He's England's most reliable goal scorer by far. At both the last Euros and World Cup, he went scoreless in the group stage, but then netted 6 times in 6 knockout games. Despite Bayern Munich's disappointing season, Kane delivered an outstanding debut campaign in Germany after his move from Tottenham last summer, scoring 44 goals in 45 appearances across all competitions in 2023 to 2024. The criticism of Kane seemed short-sighted. His playing style has been well known for years, whether at Tottenham, in major tournaments, or even at Bayern Munich. He needs teammates who can link up with him, whether behind him, on the wing, or in close proximity. He's not a traditional centre forward who just waits in the box. Kane likes to drop deep, connect passes, and start attacks before moving into scoring positions. Bellingham is ideal for this, with his surging runs into the box, but unfortunately those runs have been scarce this tournament. Let's face it, the Harry Kane, Bellingham, Phil Foden trio isn't working. For 5 games in various setups, they haven't clicked. They all want to play in the same space, leading to too much main character energy in one team. The only viable solution to keep them on the pitch is moving Bellingham back to Declan Rice. Unfortunately, this means sacrificing Kobbie Mainoo, who has been brilliant, but it also opens up a spot for Cole Palmer. His unpredictable style, where the ball seems to wander yet stay under control, can unsettle opponents and create space for the others. The truth is that England looked much sharper in a back three. While there were still some tense moments, there were plenty of those in the 4-2-3-1 formation Southgate stuck with for the first 4 games. The tactical shift didn't result in many chances, but there was a noticeable buzz, a hint of urgency, with the ball moving around with some attacking intent. It felt like England were just one solid left-sided wing-back away from breaking Switzerland down. In a back three, keeping Saka at right wing-back is crucial. Bukayo Saka might not want to play in a defensive position. After all, he scored 20 goals for Arsenal last season. The problem is, Saka is incredibly versatile. He's not just good at specific elements of a set position, he excels in all aspects of the game. You could probably put him in goal for England, and he'd keep a clean sheet. Saka wants to play on the right wing, but the country needs him at wing-back. With Saka and Shaw pushing down the flanks, England are balanced, stretch the field, and become a formidable force. Today, Southgate faces the same challenge as many of his predecessors, matching high expectations with performances and results. Rarely has England entered a major tournament with higher expectations. Declan Rice has admitted that the pressure to deliver is affecting the team negatively. "We are all so desperate to do the country proud," said the Arsenal midfielder. "We are all so desperate to win, to be leaders, to go out there and give people memories for a lifetime." Southgate has urged his players to walk towards expectations, rather than be intimidated by the challenge. Now it's time for England to let their performance do the talking on the field. Yes, England are now in the semi-finals, but it's hard to ignore the reality that they have been bailed out by 2 wonder goals in 2 knockout games. Jude Bellingham's iconic bicycle kick against Slovakia in stoppage time, and Bukayo Saka's long-range effort against Switzerland with only 10 minutes remaining. It's concerning that for the second game in a row, England had only 1 shot on target in 90 minutes, not against a Germany or a France, but against Slovakia and Switzerland. It's also hard to overlook the fact that had Xherdan Shaqiri's cheeky corner in extra time been just a foot more accurate, England would have been out. Yes, these are the fine margins of tournament football, but fine margins have sharp edges, and both times the critics were ready to pounce on England's performance. To be fair, Switzerland was a tougher opponent than Slovakia, and England did play better over the 120 minutes. But the fact remains that with 10 minutes left in Dusseldorf, England were on the brink of elimination. They were 1-0 down, having once again frozen in the second half, outthought and out of ideas. Then out of nowhere, Bukayo Saka drove one in from distance to level the score. You might argue that England were fortunate to advance, needing penalties to win and being 10 minutes from defeat in regular time, but they still found a way through. Southgate has always admired Didier Deschamps' France for their tournament know-how and their ability to progress even while playing unremarkable football. France might be pushing that strategy to its limit this summer, but it's a proven approach. Relying on moments of individual brilliance to rescue his team was never Southgate's style. The essence of Gazball was its planned, methodical, team-oriented approach. It focused on how England would play rather than simply who would play, making England efficient and functional, if a bit predictable and perhaps powerless when games turned against them. This summer, England are different. They never look as balanced or in control on the pitch, although the wing-back system today gave them a better first half than they've had in weeks. But they've gained something too, the sense that a brilliant individual can pop up with a crucial campaign-saving goal. It was Bellingham against Slovakia, Saka today, and who knows who on Wednesday. They are starting to believe that no situation is insurmountable, and they might just be developing that aura, like France, maybe even like Madrid, that they can find a way to win. The recurring issue for England is maintaining control of games instead of losing initiative and momentum. Sometimes it feels ingrained in England's DNA. Despite the national team's progress in recent years, Southgate and his players still need to overcome this hurdle if they want to finally win a major tournament. Historically, they have often fallen short in critical moments. Since September 2016, England has won just 7 of their 23 matches against teams ranked in the world's top 10. They've lost 10 and drawn 6, one of those draws being the Euro 2020 final against Italy, which they lost on penalties. Ultimately, we think that England has the squad depth to experiment with their tactics and address their issues, but it depends on how flexible Southgate is willing to be. There is still time and hope. However, at the moment, glory still feels distant, and we don't see them as favourites to win. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit like and subscribe for more content in the future. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. England might be pushing that strategy to its limit this summer, but it's a proven approach.